Hello and welcome back to Blenderpedia with today a tutorial about how to create this scene in Blender. What I want to say is I'm not going through the whole process, how to create this entire scene step by step by step. I think that is a bit boring, but if I explain some basic things about how I created that moss and how I put a texture on it and then integrate it in the particle system so it looks like a bit like this, then it will give you enough information to try to experiment it by yourself. So basic information and the rest is all for you. How kind is that? So I go to my start folder. It's here. This is all the information you need. I have the bark texture and displacement. I made that one by myself, and the rest is this is also for myself. The rest is not mine. Last week I went outside to make some photos from the nature and I discovered cool moss scenes. Here's one, and there is a totally different one right here, some rough moss growing in the tree. I picked one from each. Looks like this. When we zoom in we can see all the details, pretty cool stuff. And this is the other one in my hand. It's lovely. But what I wanted to make that and integrate it into Blender. So how can I explain that to you, how to create that? It's pretty easy, I think. This is how it looks like in the end. And how do I get this? Well, it's a common way of modeling stuff. You're starting with a plane and then we're selecting it right there and starting on top. Make that, deselect. I'm doing this really quick because I think you know how to do this. Maybe it's good to start this display so you know my buttons. So yeah, I'm going through it just like that. And you have to do that really gentle. Take your time, you don't have to hurry like me. I just have a couple of minutes. You have hours for this. So that's pretty nice. I make one line in the middle, and if I put it a bit out, you have the 3D effect. And when we make that smooth, it looks pretty cool. And to make these side branches, it was just, make that a bit smaller. I just selected these right there, Shift D, and then I'm rotating them. Not straight like this, but make that a bit curvy and use more details, of course. Control R and you have one more and duplicate it and you keep going and going and going. You have to do it like this. At the end you do project from view, and then when we go to the texture mode you can see the texture on it. It looks a bit weird maybe, but when it's all in a group, in the particle system and they are all together, it looks pretty good. Yeah, that works pretty out. The scene, how it looks like in my viewport. I'm selecting that bark and activating these particle systems. This is pretty meshy, and when I started with the particle system, I'm now deselecting it. It doesn't look like it did not look like this. It looks really weird. So to explain what I mean, I make that hair no emitter. Of course, I select that group. I forgot to explain that. It started when you activate it. Just when you put it straight in, it looks like this. And I'm not gonna explain why it looks like this and how you can tweak that till it looks soft and nice and acceptable. Removing that one, of course. What I forgot to explain is this is a other piece of moss. I created exactly the same way how I did the other piece of moss, and I used a green texture. It was from CG Textures. Is this one? It doesn't matter. It looks okay when you use it. I make 3 objects. There's 1, 2, 3, and I group them. So I have 2 groups. I call that moss 1 and moss 2. And what is important, you can see this orange dot when I go to this edit mode and I put it upwards. There's a lot of space. So if I put it in a group and I put a group in the particle system, there is one flying and it's not on the ground. So really important, and don't forget it, of course. Um, Now I want to explain how you put your models on a surface and make that looks realistic. Because you've seen that when I activated it looked really like a mesh. So this is what I call the playground, where I can explain you how to do that. I'm doing make some vertex paint. Oh no, it doesn't matter. This is enough. So I go to this particle mode. Yeah, what is that? We're working with hair, no emitter. So now we have these hair, but we want these hairs only on that red dot. And doing that is go to the group, and ta-da, it's right there. I'm starting, oh, I have to make advanced, so we have a lot of options right there. I'm just using, I think, 2 of them, because we're not using these hairs, but my object. Oh, I'll go to the object mode. So this is the hair. Of course, we don't want that. We want our mass. And doing that is we go to the group and selecting mass, and we have mass. I think 3 things to do. First of all, make the mass smaller, and you can do that by the size from the normal size. Make that 0.02, but this is my value. This is, I think, too small, so make it 0.2. But what is that? This is a value I use. Maybe for you works out 0.5 or 0.001. I don't know how big your scene is and what kind of material or object you're using. But yeah, that is really important. And one other thing is the children. I'm using that one. Now it's duplicating, so it has some friends. And I don't want 10 friends, I just want to have 3 of them, and that looks, I think, yeah, alright. I'm not gonna touch this. This is, you can touch this if you work with hair particles, so you can tweak it, but this, yeah, this is already looking pretty good. What you can do is make that random. So if you have around 100 and it is jittered, it looks a bit, yeah, but it really doesn't matter in this scene. I think every time when I switch my mouse, I'm going to empty space, so I have to, oh, there it is. To go to random, and you can see it's a bit integrating in the ground, but that's not a big problem. Yeah, you see with hair, what I said, if you use the hair, these values are really important. But yeah, if I press here 1 or -1, what is the big difference? Nothing really, they are just moving a bit. So I'm leaving that. In this case, it's not really important. What is important, that you have to fill these empty spaces. So I'm now using 100, so I'm gonna make that 300 of them. 300 and maybe some more children, and now I have 3 or maybe 4. But yeah, then it's get really massive. And one important thing is this random one. What you can do by the random one is when we scale that, you see what happened? Some are big, some are small, and that this looks pretty cool. So yeah, and then you're combining another where it is, new particle system. I should give them names. I'm forgetting that. Mass 2, making that hair, going through the same process, selecting the group, and selecting the group object. I think it's that one, not mass 2. It's pretty weird. Now we have giant mass, and we just want to have, oh, go to the advanced. Want to have 100. But these things are my values. This is not how you should use them. So yeah, I think now we have some, yeah, still too big. I'll make that 0.07, something like that. Same for this, make some children so they have some friends. Make that 3. So you have a bit of friends. Do we have more to do? Yeah, random the size. Random the size. So just in the middle. something like that. This is a very quick way explaining how to make this work out. What you need to do right now, you can see now they are all a bit different. You can see all these empty spaces, so we have to make, I think, 700. Oh, my computer is now, boo, it's exploding. And make that 300. And we have a nice camera angle. It should look like something like, and we activate it. We have, we have no more particle systems. Oh, because that's because we removed them. So I'm opening my scene again. Not really professional, of course. And we have this. I just fill in some values and it works out for me. And after that, you need some nice lighting. I'm not deselecting it because my computer's really slow. So I had a lamp in my scene right there. I give that a value from 8, but I started with a value of 4 and then it was pretty dark, so I climbed to 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8 worked out pretty well. And then the shadows were very soft, and what I like is sharp shadows. So the mask is giving shadows to the other one, and that looks, yeah, pretty fun. 0.1 was the best value. So that is all about the mask setup. It's really quick, I know, but I want to know if this works for you or that you need more explanation. Because giving you my values exactly, that won't work out for you. Believe me, you're not getting happy with it. What I think you want to know, yeah, these mushrooms, I can explain how that works. That's an interesting thing because they're really easy to make. But yeah, I can say that, but you want to see that with your own eyes, of course. Anyway, yeah, I used a reference photo because I think I made a photo from these, but I don't know where they are. So I'm using these things as a reference. Oh, and turn off that O. And make it a bit smaller. Climbing. You see, it already looked like and then we make it a bit bigger. And then what the fun thing would happen is that it's exploding like this. And then it is bigger. And one more. And then it gets smaller. And oh, this is a bit too big. And that's the mushroom. And what you can do is you can put to make it more smoother, a subdivision surface, make the surface smooth, and select one from the sides, pressing O, and just scale it down a bit, like this. And you can do whatever you want. Make some holes in your mushroom. There we go. This is the mushroom. Ta-da. Oh yeah, now we have to on top we have a hole in it. That's not really nice. So selecting these, Alt F, and now selecting everything. Because what we have some strange stuff going on right there, and you can fix that. That's a normal problem. And explaining what normal problem is that it's really complicated. Fixing this is Control N and it's gone. Now you want to know how I textured this, of course. Well, it's not really hard. But you can project it from view from the top. It's just like this. Project, and you have a nice circle, but then you have to model this bottom, and of course we have to fill this, the ground. It's not filled, yeah. And what you can do is a cylindrical projection from this angle, pressing U, cylindrical projection, and that will give you, if we open an image open, and we have some nice mushroom, and we have to now open it in a viewport. Yeah, it doesn't look really nice, but yeah, it's that's all. Whoa, there's something weird going on. I have to turn off. Oh yeah, I forgot to select the back. Don't know why that happened. So try to select them. And of course, that angle, but now cylindrical projection, UV, and we have this stuff. Oh, now it's rotating. It's rotating again. Well, oh, it's like everything again. Why is that? That's weird. Selecting everything. There we go. And growth. Yeah, this looks really weird, but it works out. It's an easy way of map your object what looks a bit complicated. So yeah, there you go. Of course, this needs to be more gentle from the top. So bang, project from view, UV, and we have that. Boom. And you can tweak that, of course, by selecting these edges, going quick there, and there we go. So we have a mushroom. If you spend, I think, 20 more minutes on it, you can make that look super great. But yeah, this is just a simple way of modeling it. The raindrops was very easy. I always say, oh, it's very easy, because I think it's very easy to make. It's not really complicated, but you need to know, yeah, the basics, and I'm learning you these basics. So this is a raindrop. Make that smooth, make that transparent by putting a shader on it. Oh, put a gloss shader on it, you won't see the effect. Then you, yeah, doing exactly weight painting this. Oh, and you go to the particle system and make that hair, and of course we select that group. I have to give this a name. I put it raindrop. There you go. Go away. And we go back to the particle system and select object, and raindrops should be there. Raindrop. Very easy. We can do it in two ways. What we can do is selecting this egg raindrop, make that smaller. That's one way. That's what we can do. Of course, we don't want, now they have a nice pattern, we don't want it, so we click random and make that a random size. So now we can make this 0.5, so we don't have to touch it. I don't want thousands of it, I just want 100. So yeah, this is doing something, and they are integrated in the mushroom. That's because, and I explained it earlier, oh, it's that orange dot is in the middle, and if I think put it right there, if I dare, the drop will popping up, yeah, it should be there. And when I press 100 again, it should be, or 90. Yeah, it's different now. So, oops, where is this going? Yeah, figure it out where it fits the best. So we have raindrops on our mushroom. It's really quick, but you know now how to do it. That's all about the mushroom. Yeah, what I'm gonna do, I'm hitting a render from the scene I made and telling you something about compositing. What is, of course, important for this scene. So I'm back in a minute, maybe 3 seconds. So now we are back. I made a quick render. This is a low resolution one. It takes, I think, around 45 minutes if we use the high specs, high sample rate. Anyway, yeah, this is a very random node setup. What you have, we have blending mushrooms and moss with a background, and we're doing that by an invert node. Invert makes things black and white. You're doing that by putting the alpha in invert and combining the invert by a blur node. And then, yeah, that black and white is blurring, and then we're putting them together with the original image and that gives a very nice when we zoom in. I already explained that in another tutorial, so I'm doing this really quick. So if we don't do it, we have very straight, how do you say, sharp moss, and now it's blending a bit, and that gives a nice look. We have a bit of map value. If we turn that off, that looks different. So it's a bit misty, and you can go that all the way. You have thousands of ways putting mist in it. This is just one. So ignore these values. Try it out by yourself. I just hit something in and this worked out. What's a fun thing to do? Normally I use an image, combining it with a scale and make that render size so it's fitting in my render, and then combining that. I'm now blurred it a bit, but yeah, ignore that. Translate, if I make that 0, you can see this image, the background is now going down, but I wanted that grass popping up above it just a little bit, so I thought I'm putting that up. That looks a bit nice. Now it's too much, way too much, but this is okay, I think. Yeah. So that's all about the background. Put a bit of lens distortion. You can leave that away. It's not the most important. What lens distortion does is, blurry these sides like in real life with a lens. But yeah, I give that the value of 0.01. I think always the same. Sometimes 0.02, but that's it. Color management, that's also all up to you. It's not my profession, so I can be that wise guy saying you have to turn it right there and that value needs to be. I really don't know how color management works. The only thing I know is that when I have this image and I ignore it, and it looks like, wow, like this, I think it's a bit, it's strange. And then I am switching with these values, and I know a bit of it, but not exactly, and then it looks a bit more realistic. But it's just a little touch, so I'm not going deep into that. RGB curves, that's an important one. When it's in the middle, it's darker, and I wanted to have a bit more bright. But yeah, read a good book about color management and you know exactly how these things work. So I'm not going to spend time on it. Yeah, so we have the invert node, the map value for the mist, background combining with the render layer, and that's it. I think when your image still looks not good, you should fix your models and the stuff you made, because that is the most important thing. Or it is the material you put on your models, but the compositor is just for the finishing touch. It's not where you seeing comes. You're making it more beautiful, but if you hit render and it looks good, you're doing pretty well. And you can tweak that a bit in the compositor. Some people think the node editor or the compositor is the most magic thing in life, that everything makes it looks great, but that's I think that's a lie. But yeah, that's just my opinion. So now I explained something about the compositor, something about the scene you're looking at, and I know it was pretty fast, maybe you didn't expect that. Some people explain it way step by step, and that's fine, but it's not the thing how I want to do, because my tutorials takes hours, and what I think that's a bit boring. And if you know these basic steps, like how I did in the with these moss, so we create one piece and we put it in that particle stuff, and we have all these switches and values, and we see what happened. And if it looks good, it looks good, and if it doesn't look good, you have to still keep trying. It's trial and error till you have something you're happy with. So enough talking. This is the moss scene, and if you have questions, ask them to me. So if you think, Rob, you really need to explain things better, or complex things, you're talking really quick about things and I just don't know how that works, let me know and I can into it. But now it's just explaining how I think things should be. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's it for today. I should put all these files in the video below so you can select it and you can download it. There's a blend file, there's textures, not all of them. So I'm linking to some from CG Textures because they are not mine. But yeah, that's it, and you can tweak around by yourself. And of course, if you make a cool render, show it to me. I want to see it. And okay, enough talking. That was it for today. See you later. Bye bye.